Hey guys, King of Charmander here. Alright, so I bring to you the most powerful team in the Love Cup, according to PPoke.com. And I've tested out a bit, and it's actually really good. Like, it's really good. So as you see here, you have Medicham. Medicham is an XL, so the problem with this team is there are two expensive components of it. You need an XL Medicham, and you need a perfect Wormadam. So if you haven't been playing Sylph since Rose Cup for Wormadam Trash, which is really powerful, it's actually really hard to get Wormadam Trash. Well, it's very difficult, and you, like I said, you need a perfect, and it's really expensive because it's going to max out. So I'm using a really crappy Wormadam for this video, so if you have one better than me, then you're in luck. But as you see here, it features Medicham XL in the lead. It uses Pup and Power Up Punch because there's no real reason for you to run Ice Punch. Yes, Ice Punch covers grass types, however, most of the time you'll be using Psychic, and Pup allows you to rev up attack so that you can just punch your opponent down. As you see, Clefable here is your safe switch. If you don't win with Medicham, switch it to Clefable, and then hopefully you can draw out the poison type with Wormadam Trash. You can farm out Wormadam Trash and then take out whatever's in the back. Medicham is there for the Mad Cargos, and also it does very well against a lot of things, actually. It does well against Alomomola, it does well against Electrode, and like I mentioned, like, Mad Cargo leads are pretty popular, so you do resist rock moves because Medicham's a fighting type. So Crustle, and Mad Cargo, Medicham will punch him down, and Medicham's still very strong. Especially if you land Psychic against like poison types, etc. You can even KO some fairies at Psychic range if you manage to land it. But again, very expensive team, requires you to have an XL Medicham and a Wormadam Trash as high as possible. Clefable is your safe switch, so that should... Clefable's been pretty available, so it shouldn't be too much problem. But I can attest, very powerful. As you see here, it takes down a lot of other leads, despite the risk of having a fighter in this meta. Fighters still do very well as long as you could avoid the Charmers. As you still see here, very, very strong. As you see here, Wormadam Trash is actually the number one statistic. Nothing in this cup will rate super high because everything is so viable. That's why you don't see it. But actually, as you see here, individual usage of 20%, it's still very, very strong. And ironically, Wormadam Trash is the most powerful statistical pick for the Love Cup. But again, really good team. I 5-0 with this team, or should have. Alright, so here's our Battle Shout class. So here's a disclaimer. This is actually a 4-1, not a 5-0. Well, I should have 5-0'd, and you'll see exactly why. And it's something really simple, which I really fat-fingered. Anyways, we got our first battle. We got Blaziken into Medicham. Again, Medicham is obscenely thick, and it does beat other fighters. We get to switch it into a really cool shiny Kingler, which is really awesome, but probably gonna get crap hammered here. As you see, I go straight for the Pup because Kingler is very glassy, so I should be able to just counter down here. As you see, they do hit the crap hammer. I'm gonna try to counter down, but this thing's doing a lot of damage. So I do get the counter down, and then I end up hitting Power Up Punch. I could have gone for a Psychic for bigger damage, but they're probably gonna shield, and they don't, so this kind of sucks. But I got two off, but I definitely should have went for Psychic because you would have got the debuff. And 2 Power Up Punches, as you see here, that's stacked up, isn't going to do much against a Slowbro, especially if they don't shield. Now I have Slowbro, so I'm going to send in Wormadam. Again, Confusion is resisted by Steel, so that's why you want to send in Wormadam. And this thing has Ice Beam and Psychic, yeah, I believe. So, as you see here, remember when I was talking about that debuff? Yeah, well, they got the debuff, so that kind of sucks because Wormadam Trash, as very thick as it is, my IVs, as I mentioned, are terrible. That's one thing. And 2, as you see here, these Confusions are actually doing a decent amount of damage because that defense debuff really hurt. I'm going to let this thing go, and I'm just going to do Clefable 2-shield strat. Unless my opponent has a really hard counter in the back, 2 shields with Clefable should be able to end this match. As you see, it ends... Oh, wait, it's the Blaziken. I forgot you even existed. Because sometimes I will forget my lead if it's like... if I'm playing really fast, and this is one of those situations. But that's why I sent in Wormadam. Well, actually, it worked out perfectly because Wormadam is really strong against Slowbro, and because I had Clefable 2 shield, so that was game over. As you see here, I do get an error 6. This team is very powerful. I would definitely recommend you have a good Wormadam if you want to do this. Wormadam is very expensive. So you really want to have a good Wormadam because Wormadam does have some bulk points to where, like, if you have a really crappy IV one, and since it maxes out at level 40, you're gonna have a hard time. So either level 40 or best friend. Crustle versus Medicham for a second match. As you see here, we're getting Rock Throw down, so, but we resist rocks, so I know our opponent does switch out to Wigglytuff, which is the right move. I kind of get a little bit of energy for a pup. I want to save that pup for later, and I'm going to send in Wormadam here. Now, I'm going to send in Wormadam because Wormadam does resist Charm, and we resist everything Wigglytuff has to throw at us. I'm going to have Wigglytuff, I'm going to just throw a bunch of Iron Heads over here. We get that crust. They have the Crustle anyway, so I don't know what they have the back, and it ends up being a Scrafty. This sucks for my opponent because I have two things that actually beat Scrafty. I'm gonna wait the timer out a little bit just so that I get back my timer, but like when I send this in, they're probably not going to like it because this is one of the reasons why Scrafty is very risky to run because it gets deleted. Yes, you have a very strong matchup with Psychic types, however, if you see Charm, you die. Very, very, very hard. As you see, they switch into their Crustle. I'm just going to mirror them and switch into my Medicham. This is why I say the Power Up Punch, though, because I save it for the Rev Up, because if you're going to get locked into an opponent, you'll want to do as much damage as possible, and plus Pup is the way to go. I could possibly go for Psychic and KO my opponent, however, my opponent still has a shield, so, well, they actually have 2 shields, so. At this point, they just quit because there's pretty much no win con for them. Even with 2 shields, I would just punch down that Crustle, and then I would delete the Scrafty in the back with Clefable. Here's my third match. As you see, this team is very, very strong. Yeah, I've been RPSing my opponents, so let's take a look so far what we can do. This is actually pretty bad. It's a very bait-dependent matchup because Scolipede does get deleted by a Psychic. My opponent does elect to stay in there, though, so I'm going to pretend I have a Psychic, and I'm going to go for a Psychic. My idea is, I think here I wanted to break both shields. You do resist X-Scissor, you don't resist Sludge Bomb though, so that's why I didn't shield. They did go to Sludge Bomb though, they were just trying to bait me. As you see here, they do shield my Psychic, so that makes me regret not baiting even more. I should be able to get to a second one. I will shield this, and then, actually I don't even think I shield. Actually I do. I think this X-Scissor will KO because of XL. As you see, they get switched into their Alomomola, and I just hit the Psychic, hoping I get a debuff, and I don't. So I'm just going to let it go at this point. There's no reason for me to keep Medicham alive. What I should have done, like, way before was, like, do that bait move I was talking about. But as you see here, this Alomomola is really, really hurt. I'm going to send in Clefable, and then I'm just going to attempt to Charm down. We have Wormadam for the Scolipede, so I don't know what they have in the back, but I think with a shield I should be able to handle it. Unfortunately, they do hit Hydro Pump, and as you see, it does heavy damage. I immediately tap into switch into Wormadam because I'm frantically trying to just I can take all this damage, and I'm going to save what I have. I'm going to save my shield for what's in the back. And as you see, it is an Electrode. So, I think this is where I oop. So, here's the thing. Because I have really crappy IVs, as you see here, I do manage to deny, like, another fast moves from coming in, but they block my Bug Buzz. I should have baited. I definitely should have baited. Because my opponent has so much pressure and Bug Buzz would KO, they would have baited the Meteor Mash, and as you see here, that Foul Play, as you see, goes through and it does heavy damage. My Wormadam literally hangs by a thread, but because its IV is so crappy, it won't survive another one. As you see here, I take out the Electrode. We get the Scolipede, but because Scolipede has a move, I will Jets GG's, and it has 2 X-Scissors. Yeah, this is where I ooped. What I should have done was I should have Meteor Mashed, where I Fat Fingered the Bug Buzz. Had I got that off, I would have been able to get to Bug Buzz before they discharged me. And then I would have KO'd the Electrode, and I would have plenty of HP to take out the Scolipede. So I knew exactly why I lost there. I think I fat-fingered Bug Buzz to begin with, so that's why I lost. As you see here, this is probably a very hilarious match. Medicham versus Churm. Now, the reason why you have to fear Churm is because Churm has 2 moves that you really have to fear. Solar Beam and Dazzling Gleam. Dazzling Gleam will do heavy damage, so will Solar Beam. As you see here, I'm going to go straight for Pup. I'm going to attempt to break shields or just do as much damage as I can to this Churm. Now, I can expect this to be a bait. Usually they bait first, and they do not. You can imagine how salty I am for my opponent. I got beamed. I got beamed. Well, in that scenario, it makes sense. So that it makes sense to beam because your term's going to die. Now, I do lose a whole Medicham, and this term does get a Weather Ball off. I'm not gonna... I do shield this one because I don't want to get beamed. Because my term... that term definitely has enough energy to get another Solar Beam off if I did not shield. They get a Scolipede, I auto-switch into Wormadam, and then I get a Clefable. This is actually really good for us because Clefable... it's gonna take a while for Clefable to take out my Wormadam. And I can get to 2 Iron Heads before my opponent does get off. Well, my opponent should be able to get to a move, but I do have a shield. And I should be able to get to an Iron Head. And then I'm going to do heavy confusion damage to my opponent. As you see here, I elect to save my shield for the Scolipede. I think my thought process here is that I have Psychic... as long as I Psychic Clefable and then hit it with a Psychic and that KOs. As you see here, my opponent will throw their energy, which is really good because they can actually farm me down at this range. And then they can throw all that energy they have for my Clefable. So, as you see, my Clefable does come in. I have a shield, and then Psychic should be able to end this game. As you see, Medicham is obscenely thick. It can survive a Solar Beam. However, do not... It really sucks if you do eat one. As you see, I took big damage from the big beam, but I still managed to come back with a W because Wormadam was very strong against Scolipede and against Clefable. Wormadam is very powerful in the back because it resists all the Confusion users, it resists all the Charm users, as well as the Razor Leaves from Vileplume. So it has the most coverage for almost practically everything. It also resists Scolipede, so other anti-meta picks like Scolipede, that's what makes Wormadam Trash so dang powerful. And it's very powerful in the back. As you saw there, I got beamed and literally lost the entire Medicham, but still came back for the W because Wormadam was just so powerful. As you see here, we're consistently getting error 6s. Hopefully your sets are going better than mine or like a lot of others because for some odd reason, this glitch still hasn't been fixed. Again, Wormadam Trash, you want a... You technically need a perfect. You can XL Wormadam Trash, but it would take a lot of candy for you to XL one. But it's obscenely powerful as you see here, so Wormadam XL, not a bad idea in the future. We get a Crustle into Medicham for our next match. This is a great match for us. We get the Scolipede. I switch into Wormadam immediately. As you see, we are taking out this Scolipede with a ton of damage. I'm not going to shield anything. And then I believe I just farm it down. You could... yeah, they're definitely trying to bait me here. These are 2 X scissors. We do resist these, so we're just going to eat them. And I should be able to just farm down the Scolipede. And then throw all the energy I have for the back. We know they have Medicham, so... I can just throw a bunch of Bug Buzz energy at Medicham or take out whatever's in the back they have in the back. I could just throw energy at either one. So as you see here, they do get an Alola Mola. Hopefully we do get the debuff here because you know Alola Mola. The fishy is really thick. So if you're able to get a debuff, it's huge because you're able to chunk a lot of damage. As you see here, I'm able to get to 2 Bug Buzzes, which is great, and then I'm just going to fire them off, and hopefully we get a debuff, and we do! This makes me really happy, because then I can send in my Medicham, rev up the power-up punches, and then it's going to do heavy damage. We should be able to take out this Alola Mola because of all the damage we did with Wormadam. When they shouldn't be able to get to a second one. The keyword is shouldn't. So I'm just going to punch it down. And I fire out my power-up punch because I'm like, I might as well rev up the damage. And again, I don't want them to get to another move. And we have the Crustle in the back anyway. So Crustle's locked into a Medicham that's +2 or 3, I believe. And all we're going to do is pop this thing to death. And this should be game. So that's GG's. My opponent played very well, but unfortunately, Medicham's just so good. Medicham XL is very, very powerful in this meta. It's obscenely thick, and if you can keep it away from the Charmers, it's really strong. Really, really strong. As you see here, we're just beating the crap out of opponent, and they elect to quit. I hope you guys enjoyed this battles. Again, this would have been a 5-0, actually an easy 5-0 if I had baited, but unfortunately I fat-fingered Ironhead. Good luck on your Go Battle League sets, and I will see you guys on the next video.